In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. All praise is due to Allah, creator of the heavens and the earth, who made the angels messengers having wings, 2 or 3 or 4. He increases in creation what He wills. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent.
Commentary. As for the statement, who makes the angels messengers, it means that angels were assigned to convey the messages and injunctions of Allah Ta'ala. From this, it is obvious that they are sent to the noble prophets as the message bearers or envoys of Allah. They convey the revelations and the injunctions of Allah to them. And it is also possible that the word Rasul used here may be denoting the sense of link at this place, that is, they become a link between Allah Ta'ala and His universal creation, out of which the noble prophets are the superior most. Thus, they also become an intermediary link for the transmittal of revelation from Allah Ta'ala to them. Then, these very angels happen to be the means of bringing the mercy of Allah, or His punishment, to the universal creation. The next statement, having wings in 2s and 3s and 4s, means that Allah Ta'ala has given to the angels feathered wings they can fly with. The wise consideration behind it is obvious, as they traverse the distance between the heavens and the earth repeatedly, and this can become possible only when they are endowed with the necessary speed to so traverse, something that can come about in the mode of flying only, and the words in 2s and 3s and 4s are, evidently enough, numerical adjectives referring to wings, in the sense that the number of the feathers angels have varies from angel to angel. Some have only 2 wings, others have 3, still others have 4. Even the numbers mentioned here are not comprehensive. Rather, they are mentioned here just as an example, because it is proved by a hadith in Sahih of Muslim that Sayyidina Jibril has 600 feathers. Quoted by Ibn Kathir. Moreover, it is also possible that these 3 words are numerical adjectives referring to the word Rusulan, bearers of the message, in the sense that these angels who deliver messages from Allah Ta'ala to this world sometimes come in 2s and at others in 3s or 4s. Once again, in this situation too, the number of 4 is not intended for restriction. It is there just for example because the coming of angels in a much larger number stands proof from the Qur'an itself. Abu Hayyan in Al-Muhit, the next sentence, he adds to the creation what He wills, means that Allah Ta'ala has the power to increase whatever He wills inasmuch as He wills in the creation of everything He has originated. This obviously is related to Ajniya, wings, in that the feathers and wings of the angels are not something simply restricted to 2 or 4 in numbers, for they could be many more than these if Allah Ta'ala so wills. Most commentators say exactly this, and Tafsir authorities Zuri, Qatada and others have said that this increase in creation is to be taken in its general sense, which includes increase in the feathers and wings of angels, as well as the increase of particular attributes in the creation of different human beings, which then includes the beauty of form, the beauty of character, the beauty of voice, and many more increased assets like these. Abu Hayyan has, in Al-Muhit, followed this track of explanation and said that things like good manners, beauty of figure and face, perfection of reason and intellect, politeness in discourse, and similar others are all included therein. This second tafsir proves that the beauty or perfection of anything one has is invariably a gift and blessing from Allah Ta'ala, for which one should be grateful to Him.
Whatever Allah grants to people of mercy, none can withhold it, and whatever He withholds, none can release it thereafter. And He is the exalted in might, the wise.
The word Rahmah, mercy, appearing in verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 2, whatever blessing Allah opens for the people, there is none to hold it back, is general at this place. It includes blessings of one's religion in this world along with those of the hereafter, such as faith, knowledge, rightly guided conduct, as well as the mission of a prophet and the station of a wali or man of Allah. And it also includes material blessings in the present world, such as provisions, means, comfort, health, wealth, property, recognition, and things like that. The meaning of the verse is quite obvious. It is being said here that the person for whom Allah Ta'ala intends to open the doors of His mercy, there is no one who can stop it. Similarly, the second sentence, Wama yumzik, there is none to hold it back, is general, meaning, what Allah Ta'ala holds back cannot He release by anyone. This includes hardships and sorrows of the world. Why, for example, when Allah intends to shield some servant of His from these, then there is no one who can dare harass or harm him. And included here is the matter of mercy as well, in the sense that, should Allah Ta'ala decide to deprive a person of his mercy due to some wise consideration of His, then There is no one who can dare pass it on to him. Abu Hayyan, related to this very subject of the verse, there is a hadith that reports that Sayyidina Muawiyah, may Allah be pleased with him, wrote to Sayyidina Muhar ibn Shaba, may Allah be pleased with him, his governor at Kufa, asking him to send back to him in writing some hadith he had personally heard from the Holy Prophet. Sayyidina Muhar, may Allah be pleased with him, called Rawad, his chief scribe, in his office and dictated his report as I heard from the Holy Prophet. Soon after he finished his salah, his recitation of the words, Allah, for that which you give, there is no one to stop, and for that which you hold back, there is no one to give it out, and no efforts by any maker of effort works against your will. Ibn Kathir from Musnad of Ahmad, and according to a narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, in Sahih of Muslim, he said these words at the time he raised his head from the bending position of ruku before another sentence, that is, these words, out of all that a servant of Allah can say, are the most true, incumbent, and superior. Trust in Allah delivers from all hardships. The lesson taught by the cited verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 2, to all human beings is that one should not hope any benefit or fear any harm from anyone other than Allah. Instead, one should keep his or her sight trained towards Allah alone. This is the master prescription for a better life in this world as well as in the life to come. This simple antidote delivers one from thousands of anxieties and sorrows. Old Mayani, Sayyidina Amir ibn Abd Qais, may Allah be pleased with him, said, once I get to recite 4 verses of the noble Qur'an in the morning, I stop worrying about what would happen in the morning and what would happen in the evening. These verses are as follows. The first one is this very verse under study. Whatever blessing Allah opens for the people, there is none to hold it back, and whatever He holds back, there is none to release it. Thereafter Surah Fatir, Ayah 2. The second verse having the same sense appears in Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 17. And if Allah causes you some harm, no one is there to remove it except He Himself, and if He causes you some good, then He is powerful over everything. Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 17. The third verse is from Surah Talaq, Ayah 7. Allah will soon bring ease after a difficulty. The fourth verse is from Surah Hud, Ayah 6. And there is no creature on earth whose sustenance is not on Allah. Surah Hud, Ayah 6. Narrated by Ibn al-Mundhir, as in Ra'ul Mani. And when Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, saw rain falling, he used to say, the rain has come upon us through the rise of Fa, the opening, and would then recite the verse, whatever blessing Allah opens for the people, there is none to hold it back. Surah Saba, Ayah 2. This term of rise of Fa used by him was in rebuttal of the false notion prevailing among Arabs of those days, who used to attribute the coming of rains to the rise of particular stars and said that the rains had come upon them through the rise of such and such star. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, countered it by saying that the mercy of rains came to him through the statement in the verse of Fa for opening. By this, he meant this very verse quoted above. He used to recite it particularly on such occasions. Reported by Imam Malik in Al-Muwatta, this translation is based on one way of reading this prayer, that is, Jid with Kasra on the letter Jim, but if it is read as Jad, then the correct translation would be, no high status of a person may benefit him against your decree. Muhammad Taqi Asmani.
O mankind, remember the favor of Allah upon you. Is there any creator other than Allah who provides for you from the heaven and earth? There is no deity except Him, so how are you deluded?
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 2 for the Tafsir.
And if they deny you, O Muhammad, already were messengers denied before you, and to Allah are returned all matters.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 2 for the Tafsir.
O mankind, indeed the promise of Allah is truth. So let not the worldly life delude you, and be not deceived about Allah by the deceiver.
Commentary. The word gharar is an emphatic form of an adjective that means one who is very deceiving, hence, rendered here as big deceiver, it refers to the Satan, whose sole job is to deceive people and throw them into disbelief and sin. And the expression means, nor should you be deceived about Allah. To explain this deception, it can be said that the Shaitan may not, by showing your evil deeds as good, cause you to become so involved with these that you reach the stage when you go on committing a sin, and at the same time, keep thinking that you are those accepted in the sight of Allah, and that you will not have to undergo any punishment. Quote 2, by.
Indeed, Satan is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. He only invites his party to be among the companions of the blaze.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 5, for the Tafsir.
Those who disbelieve will have a severe punishment, and those who believe and do righteous deeds will have forgiveness and great reward.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 5, for the Tafsir.
Then is one to whom the evil of his deed has been made attractive, so he considers it good, like one rightly guided? For indeed, Allah sends astray whom He wills and guides whom He wills. So do not let yourself perish over them in regret. Indeed, Allah is knowing of what they do.
Imam al-Bayhaqi has reported on the authority of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, that the verse, "The fact, therefore, is that Allah lets go astray whomsoever He wills, and leads to the right path whomsoever He wills," was revealed at a time when the Holy Prophet had made the prayer, "O Allah, bless Islam with prestige and power," through Umar ibn al-Qaidam or Abu Jahl. Out of the two, Allah Ta'ala showed the right path to say, "Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him," and made him the cause of Islam's prestige and power, while Abu Jahl remained as astray as he was. Majari.
And it is Allah who sends the winds, and they stir the clouds, and we drive them to a dead land, and give life thereby to the earth after its lifelessness. Thus is the resurrection.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 8, for the Tafsir.
Whoever desires honor through power, then to Allah belongs all honor. To Him ascends good speech, and righteous work raises it. But they who plot evil deeds will have a severe punishment, and the plotting of those, it will perish.
Commentary. In verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 10, it was said, "Towards Him ascends the pure word, and the righteous deed uplifts it." Immediately earlier to this, it was declared that the person seeking honor and power should understand that these matters are not controlled by anyone other than Allah. As for those who have taken certain things as objects of worship, or have taken some people as friends in the hope of being honored by them, they cannot give honor to anyone. Given in the present verse, there is a method of acquiring the gifts of grace and honor from Allah Ta'ala. It has two parts: good word, that is, the kalima of Tawhid, La ilaha illallah, and the knowledge of the being and attributes of Allah. Good deed, that is, to believe by heart, and then act in accordance with its dictates under the Sharia. Shah Abdul Qadir, may Allah have mercy on him, has said in Multilingual that this prescription of becoming a recipient of honor is perfectly true and tested. However, the condition is that one remains constant in remembering Allah and doing good deeds. When this constancy reaches an appointed limit, Allah Ta'ala blesses the doer of these with an everlasting and unparalleled honor both in this world and in the world to come. These two parts have been expressed in the cited verse by saying that good word ascends towards Allah and reaches Him, while good deed uplifts it and makes it reach Him. In the grammatical arrangement of the good deed uplifts it, there are certain probabilities. The meanings of the sentence change in terms of each such probability. Authorities in Tafsir have explained it in line with the respective probabilities that they have deemed to be appropriate by them. According to the first probability, the subjective pronoun in uplifts should be taken as reverting to the good deed, and the objective pronoun to good word, meaning good words ascend to Allah, that the thing through which they are made to ascend are good deeds, as in the Kilasi Tafsir of Maulana Ashraf Ali Than, may Allah have mercy on him. The majority of Tafsir authorities, Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, Ibn Jubair, Hassan al-Basri, Mujahid Da'ak, Shar ibn Hashab, and others have opted for this very approach. And the sense of ascending to and being helped to ascend is being accepted in the sight of Allah. Therefore, the gist of the sentence would be that good word, be it the kalam of Tawhid, or others words of the remembrance and glorification of Allah, nothing of it gets to be acceptable with Allah without good deed. Here, the confirmation by heart is an integral part of good deed, the most important part of which is the belief by heart in His oneness. This belief by heart is a necessary condition for the acceptance of deeds in the absolute sense. Without it, neither the kalima, La ilaha illallah, nor any other dhikr of Allah is acceptable. Then there are the other parts of good deed, such as prayers and fasting and abstinence from forbidden and reprehensible things. Though the acceptability of the good word, that is, the kalima of Tawhid, does not depend on such good deeds, yet these deeds too are conditions to a perfect acceptability of the good words. If a person simply does not have faith and its confirmation in his heart, then, no matter how many times he repeats the words of the cardinal statement of one's Islam, Kalam Tawhid, La ilaha illallah, and remains engaged with dhikr and tasbih of Allah, he will not deserve the least of acceptability in the sight of Allah. In contrast, there is the case of the other person who does have faith in its confirmation, but fails to do other good deeds or falls short in them. Then his saying of the kalima of Tawhid and the doing of the dhikr of Allah will, though not go to waste totally, however, its benefit will be restricted to delivering him from the everlasting punishment. The consequence will be that he will go through a certain punishment for some time that will be in proportion to his abandonment of duty and the shortcoming. In a hadith, the Holy Prophet has said, Allah Ta'ala does not accept any word without deed, and any word and deed without the intention, and any word, deed, and intention without compatibility with Sunnah, as said and done by him. Qutubai. This tells us that correspondence with Sunnah is the condition of perfect acceptability. Even if the word, the deed, and the intention, all these are also correct, but the mode and method of conduct is not in accordance with Sunnah, then one cannot become a recipient of perfect acceptability with Allah. Some commentators suggest another syntactical arrangement in respect of this sentence. According to them, the subjective pronoun in uplifts, reverts to good word, and the objective pronoun, i.e., it to good deed. Thus, the meaning of this sentence becomes totally different from that of the earlier. That is, good word, which is the dhikr of Allah, makes good deed ascend and makes it rise higher up, that is, makes it worthy of being accepted. The outcome would then be that a person who does good deeds, and along with it, also does his dhikr of Allah abundantly, then this dhikr of Allah embellishes his deed and makes it acceptable.
And Allah created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, then He made you mates. And no female conceives, nor does she give birth except with His knowledge. And no aged person is granted additional life, nor is his lifespan lessened, but that it is in a register. Indeed, that for Allah is easy.
The sense of the verse, and no aged person is made to advance in age, nor a part is curtailed from his age. But all this is recorded in a book, Surah Fatir, Ayah 11, according to the majority of the commentators, is that if Allah Ta'ala blesses a person with a long age, it is a fact already on record in the preserved tablet, Allah al-Mahfuz. Similarly, when the age of a certain person is kept at a lower mark in terms of the number of years, that too already stands recorded in Allah al-Mahfuz. The outcome of it all is that the text at this place is not referring to one individual person's age being long or short. Instead, the statement relates to humankind as a whole, in the sense that some individuals from it are given long ages and others, comparatively shorter ones. The explanation has been reported by Ibn Kathir from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. Abu Bakr al-Jassas, may Allah have mercy on him, reports the same saying from Hassan al-Basri and Dahak. Therefore, in general books of tafsir, such as Ibn Jarir, Ibn Kathir, Ma'ani, and others, this very explanation has been declared as the view of the majority of commentators. However, some early commentators have said, should the length of age concerns one single person, then decrease in age would mean that the age of every person is already written by Allah Ta'ala is certain, and every day that passes decreases 1 day from this prefixed age. If 2 days pass, 2 days decrease. In the same way, every day, in fact, every single breath keeps decreasing one's age. This tafsir or explanation has been reported from Shaba ibn Jubair, Abu Malik ibn Atiyah, and Sadi Ra'ul Ma'ani. This subject has been succinctly expressed in an Arabic couplet as your life is the name of counted breaths. So, whenever passes away a breath from it, a part of it decreases. In his explanation of this verse, Imam An-Nasa'i, may Allah have mercy on him, has reported from Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, that he heard the Holy Prophet saying. This hadith has also been reported by Al-Bukhari, Muslim, and Abu Dawud on the authority of a narration from Yunus ibn Yazid Aili. The hadith means, he who wishes that his sustenance and age is increased should treat his close relatives well, salatu ar-rahim. This obviously suggests that these deeds increase one's age. But another hadith given below has itself clarified its sense. Ibn Abi Haytham, may Allah have mercy on him, reports from Sayyidina Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him. He says, when we mentioned this subject before the Holy Prophet, he said, age as such is already fixed and determined by Allah. When the fixed term is over, no one is given the least respite. In fact, increase in age means, in the hadith cited above, that Allah Ta'ala blesses one with good children who keep praying for him. This person is not there anymore, but he keeps receiving their prayers in his grave, that is, he keeps on receiving the benefits one would have received if one were alive. Thus, in a way, his age has increased. Both narrations appearing above have been reported by Ibn Kathir. In short, a hadith that say that some deeds cause age to increase mean increase in the barakah, or bliss of age.
And not alike are the two bodies of water. One is fresh and sweet, palatable for drinking, and one is salty and bitter. And from each you eat tender meat and extract ornaments which you wear, and you see the ships plowing through them that you might seek of his bounty, and perhaps you will be grateful.
In the next verse, and from each you eat fresh meat and derive ornaments that you wear. Surah Fatir, Ayah 12. It is being said that one gets fresh meat, that is, fish to eat from both waters, sweet or brackish. In this verse, by alluding to fish as meat, the hint released is that fish is meat, already halal by itself. One does not have to slaughter it. This is contrary to the case of the animals found on land. Unless one slaughters them with the name of Allah, they do not become halal. Fish does not have this condition. It is meat ready to eat. And the word hilya means ornament and refers to pearls. The verse tells us that the way pearls are found in brackish waters, they are also found in sweet waters, something contrary to the general belief, since it is well known that pearls are harvested from the brackish water of the seas. However, the reality is what is evident from the words of the Quran, that they form in both yes, much less in sweet waters and far more in the brackish waters of the sea. That they are found in seas excessively contributed to the popular belief that pearls come only from brackish waters. By using the masculine form in the last word, talbasanaha, that he wear, a hint is being released that the use of pearls is permissible for men as well, contrary to gold and silver, the use of which as an ornament is not permissible for men. Roll, Ma Annie.
He causes the night to enter the day, and he causes the day to enter the night, and has subjected the sun and the moon, each running its course for a specified term. That is Allah, your Lord. To him belongs sovereignty. And those whom you invoke other than him do not possess as much as the membrane of a date seed.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 12, for the Tafsir.
If you invoke them, they do not hear your supplication. And if they heard, they would not respond to you. And on the day of resurrection they will deny your association. And none can inform you like one acquainted with all matters.
In the last verse, if you call them, they do not hear your call, and even if they were to hear, they would not respond to you. Surah Fatir, Ayah 14. To explain, it can be said that if you call those idols or some prophets or angels you take as God and worship them, asking them to help you in distress, they will, first of all, be unable to listen to you, because idols do not have the ability to listen. Though prophets and angels have this ability, yet they are not present everywhere, nor do they hear that which is said by everybody. Further on, it was said that, should they, as a matter of supposition, be able to listen, as in the case of angels and prophets, still, they would not fulfill your request, because they themselves have no control over it, and cannot intercede with Allah on behalf of anyone without his permission. In the last verse, if you call them, they do not hear your call, and even if they were to hear, they would not respond to you. Surah Fatir, Ayah 14. To explain, it can be said that if you call those idols or some prophets or angels you take as God and worship them, asking them to help you in distress, they will, first of all, be unable to listen to you, because idols do not have the ability to listen. Though prophets and angels have this ability, yet they are not present everywhere, nor do they hear that which is said by everybody. Further on, it was said that, should they, as a matter of supposition, be able to listen, as in the case of angels and prophets, still, they would not fulfill your request, because they themselves have no control over it, and cannot intercede with Allah on behalf of anyone without his permission. The issue of the ability of the dead to hear Samulmata has appeared earlier. The present verse neither confirms nor rejects it. Arguments and proofs relating to this issue are different. They have already been mentioned in details under the commentary on Surah Maarif-ul-Qur'an, Volume BI.
O mankind, you are those in need of Allah, while Allah is the free of need, the praiseworthy.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 14, for the Tafsir.
If He wills, He can do away with you and bring forth a new creation.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 14, for the Tafsir.
And that is for Allah not difficult.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 14, for the Tafsir.
And no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. And if a heavily laden soul calls another to carry some of its load, nothing of it will be carried, even if he should be a close relative. You can only warn those who fear their Lord unseen and have established prayer. And whoever purifies himself only purifies himself for the benefit of his soul. And to Allah is the final destination.
Commentary. Verse Surah Fatir, Ayat 18, and no bearer will bear the burden of any other person, means that, on the day of judgment, no one will be able to bear the burden of another person's sins. Everyone will have to bear his or her burden. As for what appears in Surah Al-Ankabut, but Ayah 13, which means that people who make others go astray will not only bear the burden of going astray personally, but will also bear the burden of having made others go astray. It does not mean that they will somehow lighten the burden of those they had caused to go astray. Instead, their burden will weigh on them as it was in its own place, and because of the crime of those who made people go astray, being twofold, their burden too will become twofold. One, that of being astray, and two, that of making others go astray. Therefore, there is no contradiction in these two verses. Roll Ma'ani, explaining this verse, say, Ibn Ikrimah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, on that day, a father would say to his son, you know how affectionate a father I was to you. He will say, yes, your favors to me are countless. You have certainly faced many a hardship for me during the life of the world. Then the father will say, son, today I need you. Give me some of your good deeds, so that I can have my salvation. The son will say, father, the return you ask for is not much, but what can I do? If I were to give that to you, I shall be facing the same situation that you are facing now, therefore I am sorry, I cannot help you. Then he will say the same thing to his wife, I sacrificed everything for you during the life of the world. Today I need a few of your good deeds. Please give these to me. The wife will give him the same answer as was given by the son. Sayyid ibn Ikrimah, may Allah be pleased with him, said that this is what the verse, and no bearer will bear the burden of any other, means. Then he said that the noble Qur'an has taken up this subject in several of its verses. At one place it has said, that is, on that day, either a father would be able to have his son be spared from the punishment, nor would a son be able to do that for his father. Surah Luqman, Ayah 33. The essential sense is that no one will save another person by carrying the burden of his sins over one's own shoulders. However, the matter of intercession, shafa'at, is direct. Similarly, in another verse it was said, that is, on that day, one will run from his brother and his mother and father and his wife and children. Surah Abasa, Ayah 34-35. The purpose of running is no other but that he would be in fear, lest these people try to pass on the burden of their sins on him or come up with a request for some of his good deeds. Ibn Kathir.
Not equal are the blind and the seeing.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 18, for the Tafsir.
Nor are the darknesses and the light.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 18, for the Tafsir.
Nor are the shade and the heat.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 18, for the Tafsir.
And not equal are the living and the dead. Indeed, Allah causes to hear whom He wills, but you cannot make hear those in the graves.
At the beginning of the verse, and you cannot make hear those who are in the graves, Surah Fatir, Ayah 22, disbelievers have been likened to the dead and believers to the living. In congruence to this, the expression, those in the graves, here means the disbelievers. The sense is that the way you cannot make the dead hear you, you can also not make these living disbelievers hear you. This verse has itself clarified it that, at this place, making someone hear means the kind of listening that is going to be useful, effective, and beneficial. Otherwise, the effort to make disbelievers listen, in the absolute sense, has remained an exercise in futility since ever. It has even been a matter of common observation that a call was beamed at them, and they didn't listen to it. Therefore, the verse means that the way you cannot bring the dead to the right path by making them hear the divine word because they have shifted from the avenue of deeds in the world to the arena of recompense in the hereafter where, even if they confess to their faith, it will not be deemed as trustworthy. Similar to that is the condition of the disbelievers. This proves that the negation of making the dead here referred to in this verse means a particular listening that is beneficial, something because of which the listener forsakes the false and takes to the true. From this presentation, it becomes clear that the present verse has nothing to do with the issue of the ability of the dead to hear. Whether or not the dead hear the living is a different issue in its own place. A detailed discussion about it has appeared in the commentary on Surah Rahman Surah and Maarif-ul-Qur'an, Volume VI.
You, O Muhammad, are not but a warner.
See Surah Fatir, Ayat 22, for the Tafsir.
Indeed, we have sent you with the truth as a bringer of good tidings and a warner, and there was no nation but that there had passed within it a warner.
See Surah Fatir, Ayat 22, for the Tafsir.
And if they deny you, then already have those before them denied. Their messengers came to them with clear proofs and written ordinances and with the enlightening scripture.
See Surah Fatir, Ayat 22, for the Tafsir.
Then I seized the ones who disbelieved, and how terrible was my reproach.
See Surah Fatir, Ayat 22, for the Tafsir.
Do you not see that Allah sends down rain from the sky, and we produce thereby fruits of varying colors? And in the mountains are tracts, white and red of varying shades, and some extremely black.
Commentary. Sequence of the verses. Some early commentators have said that these verses return to the subject of Tawhid, oneness of Allah or pure monotheism supported by proofs of divine power and mastery in nature. Some others have said that described in the previous verses were different states of people along with examples such as, and the blind and the sighted are not equal, Surah Fatir, Ayah 19, nor darkness and light, nor shade and heat of the sun, Surah Fatir, Ayah 19 to 20. What is being said here further clarifies that mutual difference in divine creations is something inherent. It exists even in organic and inorganic substances. In fact, it is present not only in shapes and colors, but in traits and temperaments as well. A subtle grammatical point. The Holy Quran has mentioned different colors of fruits at the first place in verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 27, and of the mountains at the second place. But the grammatic style is different in both places. With regard to fruits, the difference of colors is mentioned by an adverbial phrase translated above as having different cobblers, while in the case of mountains, it has been expressed by an adjectival phrase translated above as of different cobblers. According to the Arabic grammar, an adjective normally refers to the permanent quality of a thing, while an adverb may refer to a quality or condition that is subject to change. Keeping this in view, there may be a hint here to the effect that the difference of colors in fruits does not remain constant in a single state, rather keeps changing after brief intervals. On the contrary, there are the colors of human beings and other life forms. These are generally fast and abiding, and do not change. And in case of mountains, used there was the word judid. This is the plural form of jada, the well-recognized meaning of which is that of a mini pathway, also known as jada. Some respected elders have taken jada in the sense of a tract, patch or segment that, in both situations, denotes parts of the mountains being different in colors. Out of these, white was mentioned first while black last. In between, along with the mention of red, the expression of different colors was introduced. This could be releasing a hint that, in reality, the colors in this world are no more than two, white and black. The rest of the colors in the spectrum emerge by compounding different degrees of white and black.
And among people and moving creatures and grazing livestock are various colors similarly. Only those fear Allah from among His servants who have knowledge. Indeed, Allah is exalted in might and forgiving.
The place where the word Catholic, translated above by the words, as well, appears in verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 28 just before. Only those of His slaves fear Allah who are knowledgeable, but in the translation above it has been separated from the next verse by a full stop because this is the place of a stop, waqf, according to the consensus of the majority of commentators and scholars. As such, it is a sign denoting that this word is related to the previous subject, that is, the creation of all that exists in categories and kinds and different colors is a very special sign of the power and wisdom of Allah Ta'ala. Then there are narrations that suggest that this word is related to the next sentence. If this interpretation is adopted, the full stop would be appropriate after the words having different colors, and the word katolika should be translated as similarly, in which case it would mean that the way fruits, mountains, human beings, and other life forms are marked out by different colors. Similarly, there are different degrees among people who have the awe or fear of Allah in their hearts. Someone may have achieved its highest degree. Others may have arrived at what is less than that. Then the whole thing depends on knowledge. Whoever has a certain degree of knowledge will have a corresponding degree of the awe or fear of Allah. Mani, in previous verses, it was said, this is to give solace to the Holy Prophet, which means, when you warn people and convey the message of Allah to them, only those who have the awe of Allah without having seen Him get the maximum benefit out of it. In symmetry with this, the present verse, only those of His slaves fear Allah, who are knowledgeable. Surah Fatir, Ayah 28, has mentioned people about whom it can be said that they have the awe of Allah and fear Him as is His due. Then, there is another parallelism here. Mentioned earlier were disbelievers and deniers along with the different states they were submerged in. In the present verse, what has been put forth is the opposite of it. The verse talks about the men of Allah, the awliya of Allah particularly. The word inama is used in the Arabic language to describe hasr or exclusiveness. Therefore, this sentence obviously means that only the ulama, the knowing, the learned, the initiated, fear Allah or have the genuine awe of Allah. But Tafsir authority, Ibn Adiyah and others said that the way inama is employed to show exclusiveness, it is also used to describe the singularity of something, and the later is what is meant here. The fearing Allah and remaining in awe of Him is especially incumbent attribute of the ulama. It does not necessarily imply that those other than them have no such fear and awe in them. Al-Bar Abu Hayyan, and the word ulama in the verse means people who have due knowledge of the being and attributes of Allah Ta'ala, and who have the fact of His power and control, and His favors and blessings on what He has created, always in sight. In the terminology of the Quran, no one is considered to be an alim simply by virtue of knowing the Arabic language, grammar, and rhetoric, unless he has acquired the knowledge and understanding of the attributes of Allah Ta'ala in the manner stated above. Explaining this verse, Hasan al-Basri, may Allah have mercy on him, said, alim is a person who fears Allah in private and in public, and likes what Allah likes him to do, and hates what is detestable in the sight of Allah. And Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, said, memorizing many a hadith, or talking a lot, is no knowledge. Instead, real knowledge comes when one has the awe and fear of Allah with it. In short, the degree of the fear of Allah one has shall go on to make him an alim of that very degree. And Al-Mahdi ibn Salih al-Misri said, fear of Allah cannot be recognized on the basis of someone's prolific reporting of events or abundance of knowledge. In fact, it is identified through one's adherence to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Ibn Kathir, Sheikh Shahabuddin As-Surawardi, may Allah have mercy on him, said, this verse clearly indicates that a person who has no fear of Allah is no alim. Majari, this is confirmed by the sayings of the early forebears of Islam, Salaf. Sayyidina Rabbi Ibn Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, one who does not fear Allah is not in them. An early commentator, Mujahid, said, only he who fears Allah is the real them. Someone asked Sa'd ibn Ibrahim, who knows divine law at its best in the city of Medina. He said, Ajrmti, he who is the most fearing of his Lord. And Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada, may Allah be pleased with him, defined a faqih, master of Islamic jurisprudence, by saying, a faqih, perfect as he must be, is he who would not make people lose hope in the mercy of Allah, nor leave them free to indulge in acts of disobedience to Him, nor give them the guarantee of remaining safe from the punishment of Allah, nor forsake the Quran by indulging in pursuits other than it. And he said, verily, there is no good in an act of worship that is without knowledge, and there is no good in a knowledge that is without understanding, and there is no recitation, qira, of the Quran without deliberation in it. Qatubai, the clarifications appearing above also help remove the doubt about many ulama who do not seem to have the kind of awe and fear of Allah required of them. These clarifications tell us that, in the sight of Allah, the bland knowledge of Arabic is not what ilm is, and certainly the one who is proficient in it is not an alim. Anyone who does not have the fear of Allah in his heart is simply not an alim in the terminology of the Quran. However, at times, awe and fear of Allah are rooted in one's creed and reason, because of which one adheres to the injunctions of the Sharia as a matter of obligation. Then there are occasions when this awe and fear of Allah become the very state of one's existence and rise to the degree of a firmly ingrained asset, whereby the readiness to follow the Sharia becomes a natural reflex. The first degree of the awe and fear of Allah is mandatory for an Allah necessary. The second degree is certainly superior and sublime, but not necessary. Bayan al-Quran.
Indeed, those who recite the book of Allah and establish prayer and spend in His cause out of what we have provided them, secretly and publicly, can expect a profit that will never perish.
Commentary. Mentioned earlier in verse Surah Fatir, ayah 28, there was a quality of true ulama who acknowledge Allah. This quality related to the heart. It was to have Allah's awe in the heart. In the first of the present verses, Surah Fatir, ayah 29, some of those qualities of the same blessed people, the awliya or men of Allah, are mentioned that find expression through outward parts of the body. Out of these, the first quality is the tilawah, recitation of the Qur'an. This denotes the people who recite the book of Allah constantly. The use of the aorist tense, madari, in yatluna, they recite, releases a hint in this direction. Then there are other elders who have taken yatluna at this place in its literal sense, that is, they follow the Qur'an indeed. But the first tafsir is weightier, even though it also stands determined from the context that recitation can be trustworthy only when it brings forth actions in accordance with the Qur'an. But the word tilawah or recitation used here appears in its recognized sense. Similarly, Mutarrif ibn Abdullah ibn Shikhir, may Allah have mercy on him, said, "This verse is for al-Qur'an, phoeticians of the Qur'an, who make the recitation of the Qur'an their special activity of life. The second quality they have is the establishing of salah, and the third is the spending of their wealth in the way of Allah." When the text says secretly and openly, it indicates that it is often better to spend secretly in order to stay safe from riya, show off in acts of worship. But there are occasions when religious considerations require that it should be done openly, as in the case of congregational prayers, for which the command is to call adhan from minarets and perform salah openly with the highest possible attendance. Similarly, there are occasions when it is necessary to let spending in the way of Allah be open in order to persuade others to do the same. Muslim jurists have laid out details in the matter of salah and spending in the way of Allah. According to them, when it is fard, obligatory, wajib, necessary, or sunnah makada, emphasized sunnah, doing this openly is better. Other than this, when doing nafil salah, it is better to do it privately. Similarly, in instances when spending one's wealth is fard or wajib, such as the obligatory zakah, or sadakat al-fitr or qurbani, spending openly on these is better and worthy of more merit. As for the rest of voluntary charities, zakat and nafilah, spending these secretly carries more merit and grace. From people who carry these three qualities in their person, that is, they recite the Qur'an constantly, establish salah as due, and spend in the way of Allah cheerfully, it is also expected that they would not simply stop at fard and wajib spending, rather would also be contributing to voluntary charities. Identified next, there is yet another attribute of theirs. They hope for a trade that will never crash. The expression yantabar is a derivation from bawar, which means to go waste. The verse means that believers having these attributes hope to go in a trade that never runs into a loss. The very word yarjan, hope, indicates that believer has no room for certainty in any good deed done by him or her in this mortal world. No one can say it will definitely bring forgiveness to them, and that they will get its reward for sure, because, no matter how good one is in deeds, one simply cannot fulfill the right of reverence and worship Allah Ta'ala has on His servants. Therefore, forgiveness for one and all will not be possible without the grace of Allah Ta'ala, as has been clearly stated in a hadith. In addition to that, with the doing of everything good, one should not neglect the danger of some secret trick of Satan, or one's own self getting mixed up with so many good deeds, because of which they do not remain acceptable. Or, on occasions, along with a good deed, some bad deed gets to be committed, which in turn stops the good deed from being accepted. Therefore, by introducing the word yarjan, hope, in the verse, it was pointed out that even after having become particular with all possible good deeds, no one has the right to become sure of his or her salvation and of high ranks that follow in its wake. The most one can do is hope. Ra'ulma ani, good deeds likened with trade. In this verse, good deeds mentioned above have been likened to a trading activity, as it was done in another verse where faith and jihad in the way of Allah have been expressed as trade or business deal. O those who believe, shall I tell you about a trade that saves you from a painful punishment? It is that you believe in Allah and His Messenger, and carry out jihad in His way with your riches and your lives. Surahs. Saf, ayat 10. It has been characterized as trade in the sense that a trader invests his capital and time in some venture only when he hopes that by doing so, his capital will increase, and he will profit by it. But every trading activity in this world is hemmed with the probability of loss along with the hope of profit. In the present verse, by adding the word lan tabar to trade, it was pointed out that in this deal made for the sake of the benefits of the hereafter, there was no probability of a loss. Men, the good people of Allah, who take pains to do what is good and right, do not go about running a business as businesses are commonly run. Instead of that, they hope to engage in a trading activity that never suffers a loss. As for the mention of the stance of hope on the part of such people, it serves as a delicate hint in the direction that Allah Ta'ala is the noblest of the noble and the most generous of the generous, so He will not sever the hope of the hopeful, instead, would fulfill it. In fact, in the next sentence, it was also said that their hope is limited to receiving only a full return of their deed, but Allah Ta'ala would, in His infinite mercy, bestow on them much more, far more than they would have ever hoped, so that He pays them their rewards in full, and gives them more out of His grace. The word liyuwafiyahum, so that He pays them in full, is connected with lan tabar, has no loss, that is, this trade of theirs not only that it admits of no loss, but that it will also bring their return and reward in full, and in addition to that, Allah Ta'ala will bless them out of His grace with much more, rather far beyond their fondest hopes of returns. Included within this grace and increase is the promise of Allah Ta'ala, that He rewards the deed of a believer multiplied many times, the lowest denominator of which could be 10 times of the deed, and the highest could reach 700 times, even higher than that. Then, also included in this grace is the acceptance of their intercession on behalf of sinners, as it appears in a hadith narrated by Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, where he has reported the explanation of this grace from the Holy Prophet. These people will intercede on behalf of anyone who had done some favor to them during the life of the mortal world. Then, despite being deserving of the punishment of Jahannam, such people will stand delivered of it by virtue of their intercession. Tafsir Mashari with reference to Ibn Abi Haytham, and it is obvious that intercession will be possible only for the people of faith. No one will be allowed to intercede on behalf of a disbeliever. Similarly, the foremost part of this grace is that they will have an opportunity to see Allah Ta'ala,
that He may give them in full their rewards and increase for them of His bounty. Indeed, He is forgiving and appreciative.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 29 for the Tafsir.
And that which we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, of the book is truth, confirming what was before it. Indeed, Allah of His servants is acquainted and seeing.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 29 for the Tafsir.
Then we caused to inherit the book those we have chosen of our servants, and among them is he who wrongs himself, and among them is he who is moderate, and among them is he who is foremost in good deeds by permission of Allah. That inheritance is what is the great bounty.
The word thama, then, in verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 32, then we conveyed the book as an heritage to those of our slaves whom we chose, serves as a conjunction to denote that the two things mentioned before and after it, despite having common characteristic, are marked by precedence and succession. What comes first as precedence, and that which comes after succeeds. In addition to that, on some occasions, this precedence and succession takes effect in terms of time, while, on some others, in terms of rank and degree. In this verse, the word thumma, then, is that conjunctive particle connected to the word awena. We revealed it means this book, that is, the Qur'an, which is nothing but the truth and confirms all earlier scriptures we first sent to you as a revelation. After that, we made those we chose out of our servants inherit the book. The earlier and later of it, or the precedence and succession of it in terms of rank and degree, is already very obvious in the sense that the sending of the Qur'an to the Holy Prophet through the medium of wahi, revelation, has precedence in rank and degree. Then its bestowal on the community of Sayyidina Muhammad al-Mustafa takes effect in succession to it. And if making the Muslim Ummah the inheritor of the Qur'an is taken to mean that he, rather than leave behind his legacy in the form of wealth and lands, left behind the Book of Allah as his legacy or inheritance is borne by hadith. Prophets do not leave coins of gold and silver as inheritance, they leave true knowledge as their legacy. For ulama are inheritors of prophets, then, in those terms, this precedence and succession could also reflect a time frame in the sense that we have blessed you with this book. After that, you passed it on to your ummah as its inheritor. To make someone inherit something means to bestow it on someone, give it as legacy gift. This act of bestowal, when expressed as inheritance, points out to the fact that the way an inheritor gets his or her share from the inheritance without he or she having done anything to acquire it. Similarly, this wealth of the noble Quran has been given as a gift to these chosen servants without any effort on their part. A peculiarity of the Muslim community and that of its ulama. According to the majority of commentators, the sentence, "those of our slaves whom we chose," in verse Surah Fatir, ayah 32, means the Ummah community of Sayyidina Muhammad al-Mustafa, its ulama directly, and others through the ulama. Reporting a tafsir of this verse from Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, Ali ibn Abi Talha has said, the expression, "those whom we chose," means that the Ummah of the Holy Prophet. These are the people Allah has made the inheritors of every book He has revealed, that is, the Quran, as being the book that confirms and preserves all previous scriptures, encompasses the contents of all revealed books. Being its inheritor amounts to inheriting all revealed books. Then he, Ibn Abbas, said, that is, even the unjust one from among them will be forgiven, and those who pursue a middle course among them will pass through a reckoning that is easy, while those who excel in good deeds will enter Jannah without reckoning. Ibn Kathir, the word istafana, we chose, used in this verse shows the great honor bestowed upon the Muslim Ummah, because this word, istifa, to choose, has frequently appeared for prophets in the Holy Quran, as in, Allah chooses messengers from the angels and from men. Surah Al-Hajj, ayah 75, and in, verily, Allah has chosen Adam, and Nuh, and the house of Ibrahim, and the house of Imran over the world. Surah Al-Imran, ayah 33, in the verse under study, Allah has put the Muslim Ummah in line with the chosen ones, the prophets and the angels, although the degrees of such choice vary. The choice of prophets and angels occupies a higher degree, while the choice of the Muslim Ummah, one that is posterior. 3 kinds of the Muslim Ummah. The sentence then, some of them are those who wrong their own selves, and some of them are mediocre, and some of them are those who outpace others in righteous deeds with Allah's permission. Surah Fatir, ayah 32 is virtually an explanation of the first sentence of the verse. In other words, it means that there are 3 kinds of our servants we have chosen and have made them inherit the Quran, the unjust, the moderate, the excellent. Imam Ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy on him, has explained these 3 kinds by saying, the one who wrongs himself means a person who falls short in fulfilling some obligatory duties and goes on to commit some of what is forbidden as well. And the one who follows the middle course is a person who fulfills all legally binding obligations and avoids everything forbidden, but on occasions leaves out what has been recommended and falls into what is reprehensible. And excellent is the one who goes ahead of everyone in good deeds, fulfills all obligatory and recommended duties and avoids everything declared forbidden or considered reprehensible, and goes on to leave what is allowed to him because of his devotion to acts of worship or because of some doubt in its lawfulness. This is what Ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy on him, has said. Other commentators have reported many more sayings while explaining these 3 kinds. Tafsir Maarif-ul-Qur'an mentions 43 sayings with reference to attire, but on deliberation, the outcome of most is the same as stated with reference to Ibn Kathir. A doubt and its answer. The explanation given above proves that those whom we chose means the Muslim Ummah that has 3 kinds, and that its first kind, the unjust, is also included among the chosen servants of Allah. Taking this probability to be obviously remote, some people have said that this kind of people who have wronged themselves is excluded from the definition of we chose and from the Muslim Ummah. But it already stands proof from many authentic hadith that each one of these 3 kinds relate to Muslim Ummah and are not excluded from the characteristic of we chose. In fact, this is the ultimate merit of the believing servants of the Muslim Ummah, that even those who are somewhat wanting in the matter of deeds are also sharers in this supreme distinction. At this place, Ibn Kathir has put together all those hadith narrations, some of which are being cited below, according to a narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him. The Holy Prophet said about these 3 kinds of those we chose, they rank alike, and alike they are in Jannah, all of them. The expression being in one rank means that all of them will be forgiven and all of them will go to Jannah, not that there will be no variance among them in terms of the ranks. Then, there is a hadith reported from Ibn Abi Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, which is supported by several chains of authorities. Ibn Kathir has documented all of them. One of these has been reported by Ibn Jarir from Ibn Abu Thabit, may Allah be pleased with him, who, when he went to the masjid one of those days, found Sayyidina Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, already sitting there. Sayyidina Abu Thabit went close, sat down by his side, and started making a prayer. O Allah, mollify the loneliness and anxiety of my heart, and have mercy on me in my state of homelessness, and make it easy on me by sending a good companion. At this point, it is worth recalling that the great emphasis was placed by the early forebears of Islam on the quest for a good companion. They took this need to be an important objective in life and considered it to be a cure of all anxieties, so much so that they would raise their hands of prayer before Allah and ask Him that they be blessed with one. When Ibn Abi Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, heard this prayer, he said, "If you are honest in your prayer for a companion, then I am more fortunate in you, in the sense that Allah blessed me with a good companion like yourself on the spot." Without asking, then, he said, "I relate to you a hadith I have heard from the Holy Prophet. But since the time I heard it, I did not have the occasion to relate it before anyone." Here's the hadith. He mentioned this verse. Then we conveyed the book as an heritage to those of our slaves whom we chose. Then he said, "As for those who race ahead of others in the matter of good deeds, out of the three kinds, they will go to Jannah without reckoning. And those who are in the middle will face an accounting that will be easy on them. And the unjust, the ones who fall short in deeds and are prone to slip into sins, will be overwhelmed with remorse at this juncture. After that, they too will be asked to enter Jannah, and all their sorrows will stand removed from them." It finds mention in the next verse, "Praise be to Allah, who has removed all sorrow from us. Surely our Lord is most forgiving, very appreciative." And At-Tabarani reports from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Holy Prophet said, "It means that each of the three kinds will be from this very Ummah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad." Abu Dawud at-Tayalisi reports from Uqba ibn Subhan that he asked the tafsir of this verse from Mu'minin, Sayyidah Isha, may Allah be pleased with him. She said, "My son, all these three kinds are to go to paradise. Out of these, those who were ahead of everyone in good deeds were people who passed away during the period of the Holy Prophet. He himself testified that they are to go to Jannah. And those who took the middle course are people who followed the former as their role models to the extent that they joined up with them. As for those who have been unjust to themselves, they are people like me and you." Certainly great was the modesty of Sayyidah Isha, may Allah be pleased with him, that she counted herself too as part of the third kind, that is, among those who are unjust to themselves, although, according to very clear statements in sound and authentic hadith, she ranks high among the very first and foremost people, as Dabiqun al-Awalan of early Islam. And Ibn Jarir has reported from Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, who said, "This Ummah is a community of people blessed with the mercy of Allah, so en masse that even the unjust one in it stands forgiven. And the one of the middle course is in Jannah, and the one way ahead in good deeds enjoys high ranks with Allah." And Sayyidina Muhammad ibn al-Bakir, may Allah be pleased with him, while explaining Salim al-Nafsihi, who wrong himself, said, meaning a person who mixes good and bad deeds, the great merit of the ulama of the Muslim Ummah. In this verse, Allah Ta'ala has said that He has made a particular people to become inheritors of His book, people who are chosen and honored ones from among His servants. Then it is also obvious that ulama are the direct inheritors of the knowledge relating to the Book of Allah and the mission of prophets. As it has also been stated in the hadith, ulama inherit the legacy of prophets. In some, people who have been so blessed by Allah Ta'ala that they engage in the pursuit of the fields of knowledge relating to the Quran and Sunnah with unalloyed sincerity is, in itself, a sign of their being men of Allah worthy of the task. This is as it has been supported by a narration of Sayyidina Thalib ibn al-Hakam, may Allah be pleased with him, that reports the Holy Prophet to have said, Allah Ta'ala will address the ulama of the Muslim community on the Day of Judgment and say, "I had placed my knowledge and wisdom in your chests, for I had intended to forgive you irrespective of the nature of your actual deeds." From the earlier presentation, it is already established that a person who has no awe and fear of Allah is simply not counted as one of the ulama. Therefore, this address will be to people for whom the awe and fear of Allah has become their natural reflex. Hence, it would be virtually impossible for them to indulge in sins carelessly. Yes, on occasions, they too could slip or make a mistake under the dictates of human temperament. This very aspect was alluded to in the hadith mentioned above, where it was said, "No matter the nature of your deeds, forgiveness is destined for you." All these narrations have been taken from Ibn Kathir. The last hadith reported from Sayyidina Thalaba, may Allah have mercy on him, has also been reported by At-Tabarani with all chains of authorities cited by him being reliable. Tafsir Majari, and in Tafsir Majari, the subject of the same hadith has been reported from Abu Umar Sanani with reference to Ibn Asakir. Similarly, according to a narration of Sayyidina Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the Holy Prophet said, "On the day of resurrection, Al-Mukhtasar, Allah Ta'ala will gather all his servants together. Then he will assemble the ulama from among them at a prominent place, and will say to them, I had placed my ilm in you since I knew you, that you will fulfill the due rights of this ilm, the knowledge given to you. And I had not placed my ilm in you so that I'd punish you. Go, I have forgiven you, Majari. Special note. In this verse mentioned first was the category of the unjust, then of those following the middle course, and finally of those who are ahead in good deeds. The reason for this order may, perhaps, be that the number of those unjust to themselves is larger. Those following the middle course are less than them, and those ahead in good deeds happen to be less than the later. Thus, those whose number was large were made to appear first.
For them are gardens of perpetual residence which they will enter. They will be adorned therein with bracelets of gold and pearls, and their garments therein will be silk.
A close look at the last sentence of verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 32, and the statement in verse, that is the great bounty, gardens of eternity they enter. They will be ornamented with bracelets of gold and with pearls, and their dress therein will be of silk. Surah Fatir, Ayah 32-33 shows that in the beginning of verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 32, Allah Ta'ala has pointed out the three kinds of his chosen servants following which it was said, that is, this counting of all these three among his chosen servants is the great bounty. Next comes the statement relating to their recompense, that they will go to Jannah, that they will be given bracelets of gold and ornaments of pearls to wear, and that their dress shall be of silk. For men in this mortal world, it is haram to wear ornaments of gold, and dresses made of silk too. To compensate, they will have these in Jannah. Let there be no doubt about it, something like, ornaments are for women, not for men, in whose case these do not suit. The reason is simple. Taking the conditions prevailing in the hereafter, in Jannah, paradise, on the analogy of conditions prevailing in the mortal world is unreasonable, even dumb. According to a narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, the Holy Prophet said, crowns on the heads of the people of Jannah will be studded with pearls. Light emitted by the smallest of its pearls will fill the entire horizon from the east to the west. Reported by At-Tirmidhi al-Hakim, who has authenticated it, and by al-Bayhaqi from Majari. Imam al-Qurtubi, may Allah have mercy on him, Ta'ala said, commentators explain that every inmate of Jannah will have bracelets to wear on their hands of gold, silver, and pearls. About this celestial bracelet, a verse mentions of silver Surah Al-Insan, Ayah 21, while others of gold Surah Al-Kahf, Ayah 31, Surah Al-Hajj, Ayah 23, Surah Fatir, Ayah 33, Surah Az-Zukhruf, Ayah 53. The present explanation brings both verses in correspondence.
And they will say, Praise to Allah, who has removed from us all sorrow. Indeed, our Lord is forgiving and appreciative.
A person who will use utensils of gold and silver and dresses of silk will remain deprived of these in Jannah. Sayyidina Hudhayfa, may Allah be pleased with him, says that he heard the Holy Prophet saying, Do not wear dresses of silk, and do not drink water in utensils of gold and silver, nor use plates made of these in eating food, because these things are for disbelievers in this world and for you in the hereafter. Al-Bukhari and Muslim and Sayyidina Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, reports that the Holy Prophet said, Any male who wore a dress made of silk in this world will not wear it in the hereafter. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. And a narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, says, A male who wears a dress made of silk in this world will remain deprived of it in the hereafter, even if he were to go to Jannah. Majari, the next verse, Surah Fatir, Ayah 34. And they will say, Praise be to Allah who has removed all sorrow from us. Tells us about what the people of paradise will say when they enter Jannah. What does sorrow mean at this place? Leading commentators have given various explanations about it. However, the truth of the matter is that all sorrows stand included therein. In this world, one may become a king or a prophet or a saint, yet no one can escape it. In this world, no one is free of sorrow, and if one is not a human being. In this world of our experience, no one good or bad can get away from one or the other concern, anxiety or sorrow. Therefore, people of wisdom call this world a home of sorrows. The sorrow, the removal of which this verse mentions, includes all these mortal states of concern. The second concern is that of the day of judgment and resurrection. The third concern is that of reckoning of deeds, and the fourth, that of the punishment of Jahannam. From the people of Jannah, Allah Ta'ala will remove all these concerns, anxieties, and sorrows. According to a narration of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, the Holy Prophet said, for the people who uphold the kalima of La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. There is no fear and loneliness at the time of death, nor in the grave, nor when they rise again on the day of resurrection, as if I am virtually seeing them rise from their respective graves, saying, Praise be to Allah, who has removed all sorrow from us. Reported by Tabarani, Majari. At this point, let us refer back to the hadith of Say, in the Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, that has appeared a little earlier. There it has been stated that it will be said by the unjust, those who have wronged their own selves. This is because they would initially face great anxiety on the plains of resurrection, but finally, when they are asked to enter paradise, it will sound removed. This statement does not contradict the hadith of Sayyidina Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, appearing immediately above. Again, the reason is that the person who has wronged himself would have an additional sorrow on his hands, more serious than that of others, on the plains of the resurrection, as well something that will stand removed at the time of one's entry into the paradise. In short, this is a statement that will be made by all people of Jannah, no matter to which kind they belong, to the ones who have been ahead of all in good deeds, or to those who have followed the middle course, or to those who have been unjust to their own selves. But the thought of everyone's roster of sorrows being separate from each other is not too far out. Imam Abu Bakr al-Jassas, may Allah have mercy on him, said, It is the typical state of a believer that he never remains free of concerns while in this world. The Holy Prophet has said that the world is a prison for the believer. This is the reason why it appears in the accounts of the lives of the Holy Prophet and his great Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with him, that these blessed souls used to look sad fairly often.
He who has settled us in the home of duration out of his bounty, there touches us not in it any fatigue, and there touches us not in it weariness of mind.
In verse Surah Fatir, ayah 35, who, out of his grace, has made us land a home of eternal living, where neither we are touched by weariness, nor are we touched by boredom. Some characteristics of Jannah have been described, that it is an eternal home with no danger of any lapse of time or expulsion from there at any time, that no one will face any sorrow while there, that no one there will experience the least fatigue or boredom, as it happens in the mortal world where one needs to sleep after work. Life in Jannah will be free from this too. This subject also finds mention in some narrations of hadith. Majari.
And for those who disbelieve will be the fire of hell. Death is not decreed for them, so they may die, nor will its torment be lightened for them. Thus do we recompense every ungrateful one.
See Surah Fatir, ayah 35, for the Tafsir.
And they will cry out therein, Our Lord, remove us. We will do righteousness, other than what we were doing. But did we not grant you life enough for whoever would remember therein to remember, and the warner had come to you? So taste the punishment, for there is not for the wrongdoers any helper.
When the people in Jahannam will plead with their Lord that they be delivered from its punishment, so that they could do good deeds then, and not do the bad ones they did earlier, at that time they will be told, Did we not give you an age in your life in which lesson could have been learned by the one who wished to take lessons? Surah Fatir, ayah 37 say, in the Ibn Hussein Zain al-Abidin said, it means the age of 17 years. And Qatada, may Allah have mercy on him, gave the age as 18 years, meaning thereby the age of puberty. And the difference of 17 and 18 is possible in determining the age of puberty, as someone may reach puberty at the age of 17 and someone else at 18. In the Sharia, the age of puberty is the first line of demarcation after having crossed which a person is divinely blessed with enough reason, so that one can understand what is good or bad in his or her case. Therefore, this address will be to disbelievers at large, irrespective of their ages being long or short. However, the one who had a long lease of life, yet did not come to his senses, saw all sorts of physical proofs scattered around and heard the teachings of the prophets, still did not recognize the truth, so then, this one will be more blameworthy. In short, the person who saw nothing beyond the age of puberty, he too was given enough power of discrimination by nature that he could have used to distinguish between the true and the false. When he failed to do that, he too is deserving of censure and punishment. But the person who was given long years to live, the warning of Allah stood served against him in a more conclusive degree. Then, if he could still not shake off his disbelief and disobedience, he would be more deserving of punishment and blame. Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada, may Allah be pleased with him, said, The age whereupon Allah Ta'ala has asked his sinning servants to beware is that of 60 years. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, according to one narration, has given it as 40 years, while, according to another narration, as 60. He has said that this is the age when the argument and warrant of Allah stand served conclusively on an erring person, who then is left with no room for making excuses. Ibn Kathir has given preference to the second hadith of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. From the presentation made above, it is clear that there is no contradiction in the narrations pointing out to the age of 17, 18, and 60, though someone at the age of 17, 18 is able to distinguish between the true and the false. Therefore, one has been obligated with precepts of the Sharia from this benchmark, this very age of puberty. But the age of 60 is such a long period of time that, should one still fail to recognize the truth, there remains no room for making any more excuses. Against such a person, the argument of Allah stands firmly established. Therefore, the aggregate ages of people in this blessed Ummah are destined to be between 60 and 70 years, as said in Hadith. The ages of my Ummah will be in between 60 and 70, and there will be few of those who will exceed that reported by Al-Tirmidhi, he and Ibn Majah. Ibn Kathir. Towards the end of the verse Surah Fatir, ayah 37, it was said, and furthermore, the warner had also come to you. Given here is a hint that Allah Ta'ala gives one from the age one attains puberty enough ability to rationalize and recognize at least his or her creator and master, and then goes on to live a life the purpose of which is to seek his pleasure. To do only this much, human reason alone would have been sufficient. But Allah Ta'ala did not leave it simply at that. In fact, he sent his special people called Nadhir to help them reason it out. This word is usually translated as one who warns or warner in English, the later, though not formally admissible in the language, but is still used in the absence of a suitable equivalent. In fact, a Nadhir is a person who, by virtue of his mercy and compassion, asks his people to stay away from things that are likely to bring harm to them or cause their total ruination as a people, and tries to instill the fear of such things in their hearts, lest it actually happens. In terms of its well-recognized meaning, it refers to the noble prophets and to the ulama who carry out their mission as their deputies. The outcome of the verse is, we gave them reason to recognize the true from the false. Along with it, we also sent our prophets who would guide them on the path of truth and keep them safe from the false. And it has been reported from Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, Ikrimah, and Imam Jafar Bakir that Nadhir means the gray-haired of the old age. When they flare up, they give a message to human beings, here comes the time to go. This statement, too, is not contradictory to the first one, for gray hair might as well serve as the standard bearers of warning along with Anbiya and Ulama. And the truth of the matter is that all conditions faced by human beings after their age of puberty, and all minor and major changes that take place in their persons and in that they are surrounded with, are, all of them, heralds of warning for human beings.
Indeed, Allah is knower of the unseen aspects of the heavens and earth. Indeed, He is knowing of that within the breasts.
See Surah Fatir, ayah 37, for the Tafsir.
It is He who has made you successors upon the earth, and whoever disbelieves, upon him will be the consequence of his disbelief. And the disbelief of the disbelievers does not increase them in the sight of their Lord except in hatred, and the disbelief of the disbelievers does not increase them except in loss.
Commentary. The word Khalif in verse Surah Fatir, ayah 39, He is the one who has made you successors of the past generations in the earth, is the plural of Khalifa, which means deputy or vice-regent. The general sense is that Allah Ta'ala has let human beings have lands and houses that keep passing on from one to the other. In this phenomena there is a great lesson turned to Allah. Then, this statement could also be taken to have been addressed to the Ummah of the Holy Prophet, saying, after past communities, we made you take their place with authority to make life better around you. So it is your duty that you learn your lesson from what happened to people earlier than you, and hence you, on your part, do not while away precious moments of your life in negligence.
Say, have you considered your partners whom you invoke besides Allah? Show me what they have created from the earth. Or have they partnership with Him in the heavens? Or have we given them a book, so they are standing on evidence therefrom? No, rather the wrongdoers do not promise each other except delusion.
See Surah Fatir, ayah 39, for the Tafsir.
Indeed, Allah holds the heavens and the earth, lest they cease. And if they should cease, no one could hold them in place after Him. Indeed, He is forbearing and forgiving.
In the expression, undoubtedly, Allah holds back the heavens and the earth, Surah Fatir, Ayah 41. The holding of the heavens or the skies does not mean that their movement was stopped. Instead, it means holding them from moving askance, as the word antazila, from leaving their existing state, bears it out. Therefore, in this verse, there exists no supporting evidence on either side as to the skies move or they are static.
And they swore by Allah their strongest oaths, that if a warner came to them, they would be more guided than any one of the previous nations. But when a warner came to them, it did not increase them except in aversion.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 41, for the Tafsir.
Due to arrogance in the land and plotting of evil. But the evil plot does not encompass except its own people. Then do they await except the way of the former peoples? But you will never find in the way of Allah any change, and you will never find in the way of Allah any alteration.
Commentary. The word layahik in verse Surah Fatir, Ayah 43, and the evil plot envelops none but its own people who make it, carries the sense of layuhit, does not surround, or layuzib, does not afflict. Thus it comes to mean that the curse of making an evil plan falls on none but the one who makes it. In other words, a person who wishes evil for others, he himself falls a victim to it. A doubt may arise at this point. It is commonly seen in this worldly life that someone with an evil plan gets away with it and the loss intended for anyone stands inflicted on him. The answer to this has been given by Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanavi, may Allah have mercy on him, by saying that the pain or loss inflicted on such a person was a loss limited to this mortal world, while the loss to be the fate of the maker of such evil plan in the hereafter was not only heavier, but was more lasting too. So, if compared, his worldly loss amounts to nothing. There is another answer given by some elders who say that there are occasions when the curse of contriving against someone innocent or inflicting injustice on him, more than often, falls on the person causing it, right here in this world as well. Muhammad ibn Qabi al-Khwarizmi said, "There are three things the doer of which does not remain safe against its curse and punishment even in this world. These are causing harm or pain to some innocent person by engineering evil against him, inflicting any injustice, breaking of pledge." Ibn Kathir, particularly so, when things like that are done against a person who is helpless or does not have the power to avenge or elects to endure despite having that power. Experience bears out that no one who does things like that has ever remained unaffected by the curse of injustice thus inflicted even in this world. Hence, the outcome will be that the element of restriction, hasr, visible here appears in terms of a majority rule and not in any absolute sense. Allah knows best.
Have they not traveled through the land and observed how was the end of those before them? And they were greater than them in power. But Allah is not to be caused failure by anything in the heavens or on the earth. Indeed, He is ever knowing and competent.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 43 for the Tafsir.
And if Allah were to impose blame on the people for what they have earned, He would not leave upon the earth any creature. But He defers them for a specified term, and when their time comes, then indeed Allah has ever been of His servants seeing.
See Surah Fatir, Ayah 43 for the Tafsir.